Hello, good afternoon. My name is Anthony Puzo with the Esri State team, and this is our top 10 things you may not have known about ArcGIS and why they're relevant for state GIOs for the NSGIC Virtual 2020 Conference. Thank you for joining us today. I'd like my colleagues to introduce themselves a little bit as we're going to take a team approach here to share some information with you. So, Dan?
Hi, I'm Dan Haig, Regional Manager with Esri for State and Local Government in St. Louis.
Hi, I'm Pat. Hi, I'm Pat Cummins. I work with the state and federal government teams on policy and strategy issues.
And hi, I'm Jill Salago-Simmel. I'm a product manager at Esri for spatial data infrastructure.
Thank you. We put together a top 10 list of things you might have known about ArcGIS and why they're relevant for state GIOs. A lot of these are coming out of on the heels of our Esri user conference that we hosted virtually this year. We had upwards of 90,000 people attend our conference, which is just amazing. And we have shared a lot of that content with our user community, and it's shared out there publicly for you, and we've cataloged some of that here today. So getting right into it, we'll start with our top 10 list, and I'm going to hand it over to Pat to talk about number 10.
All right, starting off with number 10, we're going with educational resources. I know it doesn't sound new, but in addition to the traditional instructor-led courses, we've greatly modernized the approach to online learning, more important now than ever. So not just offering MOOCs, but also we put together a wide variety and collection of what we call these learn lessons. And these take a real world problem solving approach to teach you workflows and technology together. And the way the site's organized, you can kind of put yourself come from your perspective. Are you a student? Are you a GIS professional? Are you a new user? You can focus in on different capabilities to really pinpoint what is it that you want to learn and learn it in the context of a real world problem. So it's not just learning a software product, but learning that in the context of problem solving. And they vary in length and teaching approach. So you have a real variety to choose from. So I really encourage you to take a look at those. But in the context of the COVID times, there are a few other things I want to point out for you. As you know, you've known that we've had a free software program for all K-12 schools in the country, actually now globally, for a long time now. But since we've got these challenges with COVID, there's some new things I want to point out. The one in particular is the mapping hour for parents and teachers. This and all the links for these are in our number 10 box. This is a collection of 20 one-hour lessons that are designed to help teachers or parents teach their K-12 students some mapping skills. So those are worth checking out. I also want to point out that we've extended free access to the Esri software for remote learning for university students that may not have access to their computer labs anymore or want to do some extra learning to build skills. And we've done the same thing for displaced and furloughed workers that may want to do some reskilling, learn some new skills, make themselves more marketable while they're in this kind of work from home mode. So there are lots of educational resources to choose from to help you develop your own skills, encourage your team to develop their skills, or teach your kids some new skills, or turn your students' teachers on to this as a resource too. So that's number 10.
Thanks, Pat. Great overview. I enjoy these learn lessons because they're more about the process than the button pushing. So thanks for sharing that. Number 9, I'm going to go over is our GIS for elections. This is kind of a complement to the NSGIC work being done for geo elections. And we're seeing a growing interest in elections from the operations, just the operations of elections, looking at the polling places, how those workers communicate back to a larger group from the field on the reporting end of things of elections, like election night reporting, and then analytics. So we put together some really nice resources. These are part of our free solution set of different solutions that you can use for elections, like finding your who your elected officials are, or promoting and advertising where the polling places locations are. Looking at wait time locations at those, how you collect those from the field in a mobile app, and how you report those into a dashboard in the back office, and finding those voting centers where their ballot drop-off locations or other things. And then also election night reporting, and how you can report the wait times at those locations through mobile apps. There's very simple configurations of those available. And then also looking at election night results. We're seeing a huge uptick in the use of these tools in the field, and we encourage you to engage with your election officials now to see how these tools can help their election night reporting, since we have kind of a big election coming up. So I hope you find these useful, and please share them amongst your team members there. Number 8, Jill.
Thanks, Anthony. Number 8, I'm excited about our new community data sharing options that really provide no wrong front door to your authoritative open data. So Esri's Community Maps program began in response to user requests to have your authoritative data included in base maps that you use in your work. And for over a decade, you've shared your authoritative data and provided feedback and enhanced the quality and detail of those base maps. Today, advances in community data sharing offer new ways for you to have value through reuse and syndication from ArcGIS. So in July, we announced a new service which gives you the option to make your open data available to other mapping platforms, starting with OpenStreetMap, to help improve the quality and consistency of those various maps that are used by people throughout your community. This summer, we announced a new partnership with Facebook that supports ArcGIS Open Data with editing in OpenStreetMap editors. So I'm an OpenStreetMap community mapper myself, and I can really testify that this makes it incredibly easy for your community mappers to leverage your authoritative data. And it doesn't stop there. Really, this helps the OSM data make the round trip back to ArcGIS as vector tile base maps, and now even more usable as a new set of tile layers that provide that feature level access to OSM data. Also new is the road closure solution is now available in the ArcGIS Solutions app. So road closures provide that bridge, if you will, for DOTs to easily share their traffic, construction, and detour data with Waze using the tools that you already have. And then for citizens and travelers to access those data with the tools that they already know and love. So again, it's another round trip for your data. Those Waze live alert data are now available to integrate back into your ArcGIS mapping, and that's free via the Waze Connected Citizens program. So you can visit our Waze hub and learn all about working with Waze and ArcGIS.
Excellent, thank you, Jill. And one thing we've done with this story map here is we share this out publicly. We've included a lot of the hyperlinks here so you can see these on your own in your own time. So number 7 is analytics. I'm gonna hand that over to Dan.
All right, thanks, Anthony. So coming in at number 7, we have some of the exciting new analytics capabilities in ArcGIS. And first off is the Suitability Modeler in ArcGIS Pro. So interestingly, Jack mentioned this was his favorite enhancement of the entire portfolio presented at the user conference. And many of us are familiar with suitability modeling, right? It's a classic workflow in planning and site selection. And the Suitability Modeler is an interactive exploratory environment for creating and evaluating a suitability model. And it's available with an ArcGIS Spatial Analyst Extension license, and you can access it through the Analysis tab in ArcGIS Pro. So what can you do with the Suitability Modeler? Well, it allows you to create a suitability model in kind of an intuitive, integrated framework, and you can make informed decisions by selecting model parameters, and then you get immediate feedback provided through interaction with charts, panes, and maps. And you can explore how the different input criteria and specified parameters will affect the final suitability map and areas identified for siting or preservation. So because of this exploratory and interactive nature of the new modeler, you can really justify each step of the modeling process and really have some more confidence in the model output, and hopefully it will lead to some better decisions. Next up is Locate XT. So I think this is one of the coolest tools that we have in the entire portfolio. Locate XT allows you to extract locations from and text and dates from unstructured documents. So this could be any text or document, including it could be a web page, a report, even emails or social media content. Microsoft Office documents, Adobe PDFs, or text files can be processed. And basically what it will do is it'll look through potentially many folders and files at one time, scan an entire disk, and then it will look for those locations, text, and dates as you structured them, and it will update a feature layer with point features for each location found. It's a really cool little extension for ArcGIS. And lastly, wanted to mention some updates to Jupyter Notebooks. So Jupyter Notebooks are now available across the entire platform. So they're integrated in ArcGIS Pro. You don't need to install anything additional to leverage Jupyter Notebooks now in Pro. And they're also available as a specialized server in Enterprise and an ArcGIS Online extension. And these notebooks offer some really powerful capabilities. It includes a lot of Python libraries from Esri, as well as hundreds of open source libraries that you can use directly for automating workflows. So those are some of the new analytics capabilities that were unveiled recently in ArcGIS.
Thanks, Dan. You wanted to pick up number 6 too with the new map viewer?
All right, the new map viewer. So the new map viewer is all about going from data to impactful maps in minutes. So in thinking about this new map viewer, we really wanted to give you enough speed and flexibility to kind of be curious, get messy, ask deep questions that you don't normally have time for. Help you create data products that influence and empower your stakeholders and communities. So you can really go fast and change your mind now. There are a lot of intelligent defaults and recommendations that help you quickly get started. The workflows are dynamic and they're non-destructive, so you can quickly explore your data and retain the ability to change your mind. You can be more curious. There's a lot of agility and speed built into the interface, and you have the freedom to ask these deeper questions even when you're under pressure to deliver, especially when you're under pressure to deliver. Kind of flattened the access to settings and created forgiving workflows that really empower you to fine-tune and deliver impactful spatial visualizations. Some of the key features that are in the spec for the new map viewer: you can completely reorder layers in web maps. You can label text on multiple lines. There's now a dockable pop-up with better vector symbology, form-based editing, group layers. I know that's one of the most exciting enhancements, and dot density rendering. So this is currently in beta. It can be accessed directly from the app launcher in ArcGIS Online, or you can just open existing map in the new map viewer.
Excellent. Thanks, Dan. It's a pretty exciting new updates there. Number 5 is our new field maps. And this is an exciting new update to probably one of our most popular aspects of the ArcGIS platform, are our field mobile apps. You might be familiar with things like Collector, that's been out for a few years, and Survey 123. This new field maps is a new way of consolidating a lot of those different functions of Collector, Workforce, Navigator, and Explorer for really collecting information in the field. How do I divvy up work amongst my team? How do I route to those specific work locations? Or how do I just bring up maps that are shared with me out in the field, all into one map application? So this brings off all of those. It's in beta right now. We're looking at end of the year release on this application, but we have a huge amount of people interested in the beta now. This really will make simple map viewing and markups of those maps very simple in one application. You can add in high accuracy field data collection with other third-party entities of GPS locations. It helps do location tracking on your phone and turn-by-turn location navigation, all in one app. so there's no need to jump from app to app anymore. All in one location, and it has a new offline capability of where you can click off your area of interest and how you can bring that out to the field and what users you need to share that with. So a whole new experience for collecting data in the field. I know in the NSGIC community, you support a lot of field data collection work, and this is a new way of managing that work. And I think your user base would really, really appreciate this. We're going to go to number 4, to one of my favorite things coming out now. It's in fully released now, is the Experience Builder. So Dan, you want to give a little update on that?
Yeah, but I just have to say I love not having to switch between all the different field apps now.
Exactly. Yep.
All right, so number 4, the Experience Builder. So this is all about creating compelling web experiences that are tailored to your organization and your audience. It allows you to quickly transform data into compelling web apps and pages without coding. So you can create these flexible web apps and pages with just drag and drop functionality. These can be map-centric or non-map-centric pages, and you can even use multiple maps in a single page. You can integrate 2D and 3D into one app. You can build apps now with a mobile adaptive design, and so you can really optimize for those mobile experiences. There's a rich set of templates and widgets, and there's even a developer SDK to build customized workflows. It's kind of like a canvas for creative freedom to include pages, dashboards, surveys, interactive tools, and other apps and websites to tell a complete story in your way. So this website that Anthony's exploring now, this is the ArcGIS Living Atlas Indicators of the Planet. And this is a collection of what are called geocards. And these geocards are essentially templates available in the Experience Builder. And geocards bring together maps, story maps, dashboards, and even infographics as shareable containers of geographic data to help you create these customized web experiences. Experience Builder is available now in ArcGIS Online and in ArcGIS Enterprise at 10.8.1.
Thanks, Dan. It's pretty exciting. We're seeing a huge uptick on this, especially with the COVID dashboards being released now, and how people are releasing those for mobile use. So number 3 on the list is our new deployment of ArcGIS Enterprise for Kubernetes. Dan, you want to take a swing at this one?
Yeah, so Esri's been working on a new deployment option for Enterprise. It's based on Kubernetes. It brings a cloud-native architecture to ArcGIS Enterprise, which has been fully redesigned. So we've re-architected ArcGIS Enterprise internally. We preserved the end-user experience to ensure it can scale quickly and regardless of the underlying infrastructure, and it will remain unaffected by disruptions and even outages. So it will exhibit high availability without significant manual configuration, which we know is a challenge for many customers. Some of the benefits include dynamic scaling, streamlined installations and updates, ease of maintenance, reduced overhead, and improved infrastructure economics. So we're targeting this deployment with the release of Enterprise in Q1 2021, and it will be in sync with Windows and Linux releases. Now, Kubernetes is an additional deployment option for ArcGIS Enterprise. You can think of it as a third possible operating system. We're not really adding any new GIS functionality in the initial release. Windows and Linux users will remain fully supported. You have the option and the flexibility to decide if and when and how you'll move to ArcGIS Enterprise on Kubernetes. And I can neither confirm nor deny that the internal project name for this is ArcGIS Enterprise for Frank Winters. Now, for those of you who want to get an experience of what it's like working with ArcGIS for Enterprise for Kubernetes, well, there's analytics for IoT. This is one way you can benefit from this revision in the ArcGIS Enterprise architecture now. Analytics for IoT is a new real-time and big data processing and analysis capability in ArcGIS Online. So it's a full-on SaaS deployment. It enables you to ingest, visualize, analyze, store, and act upon data from Internet of Things sensors. And analytics for IoT is all about ingesting real-time sensor data, analyzing the data to detect incidents in real time, in near real time, and over time, and then take action on that sensor data that's coming in. It's scalable to support high velocity and volume, and because it's available through ArcGIS Online, it's resilient and of course managed by Esri.
Excellent, thanks, Dan. And number 2 on our list, I'm going to have Pat go over our new GIS hub site for social equity.
Yes, great. Well, racial equity, social justice, it's clearly an important topic in our personal lives and professional lives. And we know that GIS can help kind of enlighten these discussions and inform decision making in this dynamic area. But we want to make sure that we frame this out properly and that we're not just diving in and looking at race and equity data on its own, but we really want to figure out how to pull that data into different policy areas. So this hub site pulls together stories that talk about different aspects of the challenges, and we have a lot of applications that are here and lots of data too, but we want to use that in context. So this hub site's designed so you can come in and pull this data to merge it with other things like looking at broadband access, because that has such an impact on access to remote learning or distance or remote work or access to telemedicine, or even looking at equity and race in the context of access to transit or where funding's going, where grants are going. So you want to put it all in context. One area of this, the hub site I want to point out here is the box in the middle there, where we've got a collection of 7 different maps. You see the question across the top, that Black children and poverty in the US. This is a compiled compilation of policy maps. So they're well-designed maps to answer different questions like, where is there, well, here, home ownership by race. But what's really slick about this is it pulls from our policy maps collection. But this collection you could share very easily just by, you can interact with the maps, or you can just click that mailbox there. And what will happen here is it'll take that collection of 7 maps, it'll bundle it up very nicely. So it'll prepare an email for you that you can then send, or you could tweet it out, put it on Facebook, that you can share with your boss, with your neighbors, with your team, so they can then explore those same maps. And you can share this collection of kind of social equity maps, or you can actually use the Policy Maps website to create your own collection of maps and then share them in this way. So it's really kind of a hidden gem here, on a really nice tool to help you more easily share maps in a really effective, easy way. And the link on the right in the box there gives you a how walks you through the whole process of how to do this. So take advantage of it.
Great. Thanks, Pat. Well, before we go to our number 1 option on our top 10 list, we have a few honorable mentions. One would be secured services across the entire platform with HTTPS. That's coming out end of this year. Please be prepared for that with all your ArcGIS Online organizations. Another thing, and it was very popular at our Esri UC this year, was all of the ArcGIS Pro sessions. It is now feature equivalent across the platform with ArcMap. So please encourage your users in your states to move to ArcGIS Pro when and where possible and where needed. And there's a lot of new training options there on the Learn lessons that we showed earlier to help with that move. Another are some new drone and imagery solutions. We presented this at the last NSGIC conference, but this is getting very popular, especially with this remote working, on how you can send teams out in the field to collect drone imagery and bring that automated into the cloud and automate that process to share that imagery amongst your teams. This is also driving 3D demand across the platform. So from mobile to web to desktop, bringing that information either collected by drone or other means across the platform for further analysis. And then that will actually bring in that BIM information to do that whole geodesign aspect of bringing in ArcGIS and AutoCAD information and that BIM information to have that whole holistic view of design and engineering models. So there's a couple of honorable mentions. We have some hyperlinks here for more information on these topics. But our number one item on our list is obviously the COVID-19 response. This pandemic has obviously affected everyone across the planet these days, and I'm sure I speak for all of my colleagues at Esri that just an overwhelming response of how GIS and location analytics have played a role in the response, the recovery, the all the aspects of our response to COVID-19, and really kind of driving a lot of innovation within Esri for our user base to use. I really love this new application with these spark lines here across the country, really getting down to the county level and showing where spread is happening or where it's not happening or where it's spreading or declining across the country. So really, really cool applications here. But this is an application from Esri. What we're seeing is a huge response from our community. And one of the things that we've done at Esri over the last 8 months is organized a lot of our content from the user community in our GIS hub. So you'll see an index of US applications here from across the country. This is just from the US. There's over 350 responses, and these include items like a lot of the dashboards and applications that are being built in the community. We've had some fantastic response and design of how people are sharing this information. Down in Georgia, Susan Miller has been leading a team of data analytics and visualization team, really coordinating with the public health entities, the National Guard, emergency management, and really bringing in a whole group of new people to the value of what GIS brings to the state, and showing things like hospital capacity planning, dashboarding, school access, really a whole new level of insight into what's happening in that state. And we're seeing that in a lot of other states. We're getting involved with contact tracing, where you're seeing a whole move from paper-based contact tracing into a digital age of contact tracing using mobile applications like Survey 123 and dashboards to visualize where things are happening in the field. This has also driven a whole new use of data being shared within the ArcGIS platform to the community. Things like our school closing, which is very relevant right now, where schools are opening, closed, who's doing distant learning. And then also new partnerships. We saw, especially early on in the pandemic, new partnerships formed with folks like SafeGraph and Facebook and Blue Dot and Unicast on social distancing information that they partnered with Esri, and we're sharing that to the platform at no cost to our end users so they can bring that into their applications and do further analytics on how their policies are actually aligning with some of their efforts that they're doing. And we're also seeing this, how the social equity and vulnerable population data plays into that same kind of modeling and looking at that. And this will play into that next step where we're looking at vaccine distribution and how do the cases line up with the vulnerable populations and who gets that vaccine and how you distribute that in an effective pattern. Well, we'll see another level of mapping applications and analytics get played into that. So just a fantastic outreach effort and fantastic response from the GIS community on different applications. And here's, Pat mentioned our policy map and the different pre-made maps that are shared with the platform. And here's another collection here. So this is all shared within the GIS hub. At our user conference, we have a really nice application here, really nice video of compilation of different applications being used in the field. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of applications being shared. One of the highlights of this was our award winner at UC, which was the Johns Hopkins dashboard. That dashboard was getting over 1 billion hits a day in April. So that is some tremendous scale and interest in the level of spatial analytics and spatial data being used by the public. So fantastic response from this. There's still a lot more work to do, obviously, but location analytics and the work that you're doing as state GIOs plays a very, very important role into the outreach of that. And since this video was shared at our user conference, I also wanted to share with you that all of our user conference plenary videos are cataloged here on YouTube. There's 25 of them, including a lot of the stuff that you saw here today, the suitability analysis that Dan showed, the LocateXT demo, some of the drone mapping applications, deep learning, the analytics for IoT we mentioned earlier. All of those videos are cataloged here and shared to the public so you can consume them at no additional cost. We included here a little survey into our into our story map here as we share this out. We'd love to hear from you what your thoughts were on your top 10. You can rearrange these and share that back with us. We'd love to hear what you're interested in. We thank you for your time. We appreciate all the work that you do as state GIOs, and we're here to support you through good times and bad. And we appreciate the time we spent with you today. Thank you so much.